That last part is enough to get you a grippy sock vacation. You need to relax, okay? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Imai and today is Beat TV. Nope, that's not my intro anymore. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Imai and this is Beat TV. Beat TV is a series on my channel where we watch an episode of a TV show. It's been mostly cartoons, but we can switch it up if you want to while I put my makeup on, except today I really don't want to put my makeup on, which is why I have no eyebrows. Today, I'm just going to be tinting my brows and we're going to be watching a show. When I had very limited, I'm just going to start tinting my brows now. When I had very limited source material, y'all kept asking for, hey Arnold, hey Arnold, hey Arnold. And I was like, with peace and love, I have no way to get that to you. Y'all are so close to me. But now I do. So let's watch some Hey Arnold. Today we are watching season, Jesus. I didn't get a clear answer on what season this was. I know it's a season 4 episode, but some places are saying season 6, and I'm like, I don't even think this show has a 6th season. So let's be clear on what episode this is. Season 4, episode 9 is the most consistent thing I'm getting for which season this episode actually is in. We are watching season 4, episode 9. Helga on the couch. I googled best Hey Arnold episodes. Also, we kind of talked about it a little bit in the first Hey Arnold video I did, because I was like, Helga needs to get therapy, and y'all were like, she did, which of course I already knew. But today we're gonna watch her receive that therapy. Next week I want to film my my cartoon Q&A, or like my TV show Q&A, but I feel like I don't have enough questions yet. So y'all put some questions below about your thoughts and opinions on your favorite shows that I can react to, or questions about my thoughts and opinions on some shows, and we got a cute little discussion. But I want more questions. I wanna have a full conversation. So let's do that, okay? Now, let's start the episode. You know their intro for this show is 47 seconds? That don't feel a tad long to y'all? So the episode begins and Principal Warts is talking about how the school found it in the budget to afford a child psychologist for Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. And she's there in the beginning of the day just so she can get a profile of the school, walk around, see which students might potentially need her help. And Principal Warts was like, well, you can look, but you won't find anything because PS 118 is the picture of mental health. And then here come Helga's angry ass just down the hallway. So Dr. Bliss walks out of Principal Schwartz's office and she notices Helga pushing kids in the hallway, being just her general bully self, and she notices Helga walk into class, so she follows her into class and lets the teacher know that she's going to be observing the class today, but specifically kind of observing Helga because she already peeped, shorty got issues, and she does. So throughout the class, Helga is doing her normal spitball BS and then fawning over him when he's not looking, and the doctor's with her clipboard I gotta keep an eye on this one. After class, I mean, it's not the end of the day, it's recess, because Helga tells Phoebe to save her Foursquare little court. I think she said Foursquare. I remember Foursquare. Foursquare was lit. Helga does her thing where she's like, I hate Arnold, but I love him so much, and then goes into her Shakespeare poetry. And Brainy pops up on her as he does, and she punches him in the face, and he falls backwards. And I'm like, horrible thing to do to Brainy. Horrible thing to do. But don't be sneaking up on people all the time, always, all the time. And then the breathing and no, sorry, Brainy. The doctor walks out of the office and sees Brainy on the ground and looks up at Helga and she's like, oh goodness, oh Lord. So Helga's in the office for punching Brainy in the face, and Principal Warts is like, you can't do that. Helga's like, it's Brainy, he doesn't mind, I do it all the time, and he was breathing on me. Violence is never the answer. But don't pop up on me! Principal Warts is like, well, we invited her here to observe our students, and now she has a basket case before the end of the day. So Dr. Bliss tells Helga to meet with her Tuesdays and Thursdays after school so that they can chat. So the doctor is like, I'm not here to punish you. I just want to get to the root of the issue and figure out what's something that you could be hiding within yourself that's causing these behaviors. And Helga's like, hiding? I'm not hiding anything. Like, she's nervous about the meeting because she's got to, like, divulge her secrets. So Helga arrives home and her dad is on the phone, and he's, I guess, on the phone with someone from the school saying that, you know, Helga needs therapy and this is what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. So he pulls Helga into the trophy room and tells her, like, don't be spilling all our secrets. Like, sweep it under the rug. Like, we're Patakis. We don't talk about this stuff. And the mom is, like, co-signing, like, yeah, you know, some things are best swept under the rug. So don't be blabbing in there. So Helga's, like, in the bathroom fuming. She's like, no stupid shrink is going to make me divulge my secret to her about how much I love Arnold. And then she goes into her shrine room, and I'm not even, y'all just gotta see it. Y'all just have to see it.
Love for Arnold. Oh, Arnold.
So Helga puts on her disguise to go to Dr. Bliss's office after school, which is kind of wild because I thought that, like, why can't they do this in, like, the guidance counselor's office? But then at the same time, like, if it's after school, I guess, like, all the other school people would be going home, so they can't just use the whatever. Helga is putting on her disguise and she's coming off the bus, and Phoebe sees her, and Phoebe's like, Helga, are you wearing a disguise because you're embarrassed about therapy? Because therapy is, like, perfectly normal. You're right, Phoebe. Shorty's in a trench coat and hat with her head down. So Helga walks into the therapist's office, and immediately she's on some crazy hostility. She's like, how are you? Whatever. And she's like, let's get this over with. She's like, are you a child psychologist because you weren't good enough to be an adult psychologist? Like, really just on some hostile stuff. Like, not even open to being receptive of the therapy, which is like, oop, not my mirror all up in the shot. I'm like, girl, don't be rude. This woman is literally, her sole purpose is to try to help you. So Helga starts asking her questions like, have you read all those books? Because she has, like, this big bookcase. She's like, have you read all those books? Have you wrote any books? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just asking her a lot of questions. And the therapist is like, I noticed you ask a lot of questions. And she's like, yeah, well, how about I sit in the doctor's chair and you sit in the patient's chair? And the doctor's like, well, no harm in that. And then they start their therapy session. So Helga starts asking the doctor questions, I guess the list of questions that the doctor was originally going to ask Helga, and they bond over, like, their jump roping rhymes that they used to do. And then the doctor mentions of something about her sister, and then Helga starts talking about her own sister and how Olga's so perfect and how she can't live up to the expectations of Olga. And their therapy session is really, like, truly starting now. So Helga is having a flashback, but also sort of telling the story of the last time her sister was home. In the story, her parents are so wrapped up in what Olga is doing with her life that they forgot to pick up Helga's winter coat from the cleaners. And now Helga's going to be cold for a while until whoever decides to pick it up. And Helga just stomps into the kitchen, makes her own lunch to go to school, steps outside, it's snowing, and she does not have a winter coat. This shit is sad, dude. She is kind of just going off about her family, and then she goes, you know, I think I'd go crazy if it wasn't for Arnold, and then she stops herself, and then she starts to snap about something. She, like, she tries to make it seem like she wasn't gonna say Arnold, but, like, the therapist isn't dumb. She's a smart lady. And Helga tries to leave, and she goes, well, there's 49 minutes left in the session. Sit down. We're 11 minutes into the episode. Isn't that smart? Ah! So Helga's like, well, don't think you're going to get me to get all gushy and mushy and spill all my secrets to you, because that's not going to happen. And she's like, okay, well, we don't have to talk about your family. We can talk about sports. We can talk about your hobbies. We can talk about your classmates. We can talk about Arnold. And Helga's like, what you mean we can talk about Arnold? Ah! And she's like, Arnold's special to you, isn't he? And she's like, not particularly. And she's like, well, according to my notes, you shot 57 spitballs at him. You called him football head. And you, like, stared at him the whole time. I know what's up. And Helga's kind of like, well, what's your point? And she's like, well, that's a lot of attention to pay to one specific person, even if it's negative attention. She makes up some excuse. She's like, well, it was Arnold Day on my calendar that day, and today was Cheryl Day, like, I swear. And She was like, okay, we can move on. And Helga's sitting in that chair, and I gotta show y'all exactly what the I don't want to say the shot, but the frame of her, like, in her head, like, what is up with this lady?
Moving on. Nice recovery, Helga. Now, all I have to do is stay focused, no matter what. Stay away from the subject of Arnold.
Now, we're going...
Does she know something? Like, girl, if someone doesn't know, it's either their first day at that school or they are literally blind. They are walking around blind, deaf. Like, come on, girl, you don't hide it. And she swears she's so slick. So they do some word associate. They do some ink blots, and like in her mind, all she can see is Arnold in these ink blots. So they do some word association, and all of the words relate back to Arnold. She says football. She says head. She says Monday. She says Monday night football. Like, she can't stop thinking about Arnold. So Helga's like, let's stop with the tests. And the therapist, Mrs. Bliss, Dr. Bliss, she's like, all right, we don't have to do the tests. But you said earlier that your family doesn't notice you. That must be awfully lonely. Because your mother doesn't notice you? And Helga's like, hell no, my mom does not notice me. She tells a story of how she was on her way to school, I think she said yesterday, and her mom packed her lunch, but it was like moist towelettes, crackers, and shaving cream. So when she got to school, she had to trade the shaving cream for a Mr. Fudgy bar so that she could eat that day. Oh my god, this is so sad. And then they start talking about Helga's dad and how he only ever cared about Olga even as far back as she could remember. And then she starts telling a story about how her parents paid so much attention to Olga. Her parents were literally just standing around the piano listening to Olga play. And Helga is begging to be taken to preschool. Preschool, you're like 3. And they're like, literally they're just standing around the piano listening to Olga play. And then Helga has to walk herself to preschool in the rain through an urban city at 3. Going into 2023, I'm not going to get myself so worked up over these shows. All of y'all are fucked up. All of y'all. All of you. Prison for all of you. Prison for the dad for obvious reasons. Prison for the mom who's alcoholic, and we will be discussing that in a later video. We're going to be discussing it. And then prison for Olga for not seeing this happen and protecting her sister. Like, getting splashed by the mud, like by like a car driving by the mud, like splashed up, covered in mud. A dog knocked her to the ground and stole her lunch, and then the therapist is like, so no one's ever noticed you. This is beyond not being noticed. Was Nickelodeon not able to use the word neglect or abuse? Why are we making this less than what it is? Get this child out this home. Oh my god. There needs to be a follow-up episode of why Dr. Bliss didn't call CPS. I'm not gonna do it because every time I get worked up, there's someone in the comments saying, girl, it's just cartoons. And usually it's attached to a slur.
Nice bow. Huh? I like your bow because it's pink like your pants.
Helga was like, well, someone noticed me. And then little baby Arnold, oh my god, my heart. Little baby Arnold gets out of the car and he holds the umbrella over her head. That's when she like fell in love with Arnold. And I'm like, oh my god. So there's another shot of them in the like preschool that they all went to together. They made zero attempt to draw Gerald younger. Like, that's just Gerald. Like, y'all could have made his high top a little shorter or something. But there's a scene where Harold steals Helga's crackers and Arnold notices and gives Helga his crackers, and she's like falling further in love with him. And then Harold notices her kind of swooning over Arnold, or like just this nice thing that he did for her. And then everyone else at the table is laughing. And then this is where Helga becomes a bully. Kids are evil. Kids suck. And I'm like, I get it. I get it if you're like defending yourself. But Shorty just started walking around like Big Bertha. Like, just bullying. Just like for no reason. Just like, defending yourself is one thing. But don't walk around here like you own the place. hurt people, I guess. But she still has her big old soft spot for our dude Arnold, because he's a good guy. And the therapist is essentially like, why are you so angry at Arnold? And she's like, I'm not mad at Arnold. Like, my mom sucks, my dad sucks, and my sister's perfect. I'm not mad at Arnold. And she's like, well, why do you keep taking it out on Arnold? If you want to say your feelings about Arnold, like, this is the perfect space to do it. I'm a therapist. I'm here to help you. And Helga's like, maybe I should say something about how I feel about Arnold. So the therapist is like, this is the great environment for it. And I'm a therapist. Like, I literally can't tell anyone. And she's like, are you sure? She's like, yes, I can't tell anyone. Like, this is a safe space. I can't tell anyone what goes on in here. And then Helga starts screaming to high heaven about how much she loves Arnold. And then she tells the therapist, if you tell anyone, I'm going to rip your tongue out and wrap it around your neck. Babe, you should have crossed that part. That last part is enough to get you a grippy sock vacation. You need to relax, okay? Relax on the threats. The therapist is just like, I won't tell. And she's just like, so you like Arnold, you know? Yeah, the shrine part is weird. But as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, this is a fine way to express your feelings. Helga's like, well, can I still, like, boss people around and stuff? And therapist is like, yeah, maybe she should have advised against that part. And then she's like, I could still punch Brainy in the face? And she's like, no, you can't do that. That's literally why you're here right now. But you don't have to stop being Helga because you're in love with Arnold. I'm like, but maybe we should, maybe in the next session we should talk about why it's not just a normal crush and why it's obsessive and why she has a shrine of him in her room. Maybe that's like something for next session. And then I guess her little timer goes off, or she checks the watch and she's like, oh, well, our session's over. Helga's like, already? Like, maybe you should have given this kid an extended session. There's more to unpack here. So really sweet, Helga gives the therapist a hug on her way out of the office, and she's getting off the bus going home, and she's kind of like elated that she's got this weight off of her chest now. And as she turns the corner, she walks into Arnold and accidentally knocks all his groceries out of his hand. And for a second we think that Helga's gonna tell Arnold her secret, but then she does her normal Helga yelling at him situation, and Arnold is just like eating it like a champ because he's like, I've been doing this for years, like it's nothing. And then they go their separate ways, and Helga's like, he doesn't even know about my secret. Like, her being Helga sounds exhausting. Being her sounds so exhausting. Episode over, by the way. But like, living like this can't be fun. Like, this sounds like more than a full-time job. This sounds, oh my, but at the same time, like, after everything we discussed, it's like she needs this. She needs to be able to do this, I guess. It's like, geez, I wish she wasn't I wish she wasn't a whole bully because of it, but like, I get it. I understand. Oh, this is one thing I want to discuss too. We were doing Bad TV Besties a while ago, maybe like a year ago or something. And people were telling me like, Helga needs to be put on the list of people who are bad friends. Now, I purposefully exclude villains from the Bad TV Besties list because they are villains. They were written to be bad. I'm not going to expect a villain to be a good friend. Bad TV Besties is specifically for characters that were written to be a friend of the protagonist, or, you know, a friend of a character who is just written poorly. Like Dodie is not particularly the villain. She was written to be Ginger's best friend. She's just a bad friend. Helga will never be included on the list of Bad TV Besties because she was written to be bad. Same thing goes for, like Miranda. She was written to be bad. Angelica, she was written to be bad. But you know who can be included on that list? That I haven't watched a lot of the show, but I've heard from y'all in the comments. Candace from Phineas and Ferb, she was a bad friend to Stacy. That counts. La Cienega does not count. She was written to be bad. Dijonay counts because Dijonay was supposed to be Penny's friend. La Cienega was always the antagonist. You see what I'm saying? We're not including Helga in bad TV besties. That's just one thing. But I get why Helga's like this, and it's unfortunate that she is, but we should have dug, I mean, this could have been like a 45-minute special. There's a lot to get into with Helga, but we could have dug deeper into why she feels the need to be a bully versus just defending herself. Like, I understand it's to protect her secret, but like after Harold stole her crackers and then Arnold gave her the new crackers, A+, defend yourself, boo. But she was stomping around the preschool like she owned the place for absolutely no reason. You can defend yourself and not be a bully full time. You can protect your secret and not be a bully full time. We need to get into that. And we also need to get into the obsessiveness, because it's scary and concerning. And the therapist saying that she still can boss people around is also concerning, because why aren't you advocating for kindness and a change in behavior and a change in her mindset to where she feels like she doesn't have to do that to protect her secrets? Girlies have secret crushes all the time. They're not full-time bullies to protect that secret. And the shrine. We need to get into why she has a shrine, dresses up in it. There's so much more to unpack here. There's so much more to unpack here that's not Arnold-centric, and this is Helga's on the couch, and I get it's called Hey Arnold, but like there's so much, Helga's such a complex character outside of her crush on Arnold, and I want to know more about that. Let's talk about that next time. All in all, this episode was wonderful. I wish we learned more. I wish we had more time, but this was technically an extended episode for them because Hey Arnold does an A plot. No, they split it. So they do episode A and episode B, and they fit it into the 22-minute time slot. And this one episode was 22 minutes. So technically it was extended, but I could watch like a full-length movie on Helga's therapy because homegirl needs it, and we need to see it. But yeah, that's all we have to say this week. If there are more thoughts, you know, I'm going to come back in editing as I always do. But thank you guys so much for watching. I still want to do channel chasers. If we can get this to 1,000 views by next week, we'll do channel chasers. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in whatever I post next. I don't even know what I'm going to post next. Okay, thanks. Bye.